What's going on, everyone? Sean, Denver real estate agent with Co-Listings, and this is your January 2021 real estate market update for the Denver area. Happy New Year, by the way. I hope it's off to a great start for you. I know it is for me in very many ways, and I'm looking forward to what's in store for 2021. But let's not get too focused on the new year just yet. I want to take a look back on what took place in 2020 in the real estate market here in the Denver area. Here are some things that we're going to cover. We're going to talk about median days on market, months of housing inventory for single family homes, number of new listings, median sale price, mortgage rates for the 1 in 10-year look back, the Denver area unemployment rate, and we're going to take your questions from social media. There were quite a few this go around, about 30. I won't be able to get to all of those, but I will get to some of those that I think will be interesting to the broader audience. So let's go ahead and jump in. First up is median days on market. We are sitting at 6 days, and you can see here 2020 has just looked so different in terms of how long it's taking for houses to sell. You can see all the way over on the left, back in January 2014, we saw the worst of the real estate market there, with houses sitting on the market around 40 days and close to 80 days. Now we're looking at a very, very different story, of course, with median days on market sitting at 6 days, but it's really looked like that since April, and it has persisted when we might typically see an increase in days on market in the wintertime, which is the slowest time of the year. 2020 was the exception. Months of housing inventory for single family homes. I checked this a few times because I thought that this might have been an error or a typo, but 0 months, and I've never seen that. And you're looking at the chart here. You can see the best and the worst of the market here. We've teeter-tottered between 1 and 2 months of inventory since 2014, but December was the first time that it ever registered at 0 months. So this could be an error, or this could reflect what I'm seeing in the overall Denver market, which is a hyper intense market and a very, very short list of inventory for buyers to pick from. Number of new listings, 2,126. How does that compare to previous years? Well, you can see over on the right that the year has looked very different with number of new listings, where we might see a significant downtrend beginning in summertime. As we move out of that peak season, we didn't see that. The intensity of the market and buyers willing to compete and sellers willing to put their house on the market through the fall time was unique to 2020 as well. And I can say anecdotally that where I would typically see a slowdown in my business in November, December, and January, things just continued to roll on through. Didn't even stop, didn't even slow down for me. In fact, I had one of my best months in December. Median sale price is sitting at $500,000. We continue to see this climb, and I think that this will be a trend that we'll see for the foreseeable future. Mortgage rates, for the 30-year, it's sitting at 2.65, the 15-year 2.16, and the 5/1 adjustable 2.75. These rates are pretty historically low. You can see a snapshot over the last 12 months. They've continued to fall. And then when you look 10 years back, we're seeing near record low interest rates. The last time we saw interest rates this low was back in 2013. And this, I think, has a large part to do with why buyers are getting out and shopping. Interest rates are very low, which makes the mortgage payment for the house that they purchase really low as well. Unemployment rate is sitting at 6.5%, and that's in comparison to the national average of 6.9%. So though the Denver unemployment rate is lower than the national average, we're still at historical highs for people being unemployed. And that's really sad. Now, there is quite a disparity between what we see here in the unemployment rate in the Denver area and the real estate market. The real estate market has continued to be hot. So what I make of that is that the people who have been affected by the pandemic and who are seeing these unemployment rates are mostly lower waged workers. And the people who can afford to buy a house today have managed to maintain their jobs as the pandemic has shifted how people work and how people are more often than not working from home. Now let's get to some of your questions. How to buy rental properties in Colorado out of state. This is far easier than it is for someone out of the country. You'll want to talk to a local lender, get approved for a loan, and then have your real estate agent start shopping for houses for you. He or she can set you up on a property search so you're receiving email alerts when those properties go on the market. And if you want, your agent can go check those out remotely, either by doing a live FaceTime or video call, or your agent can take video, record it, upload it, set that video to private on YouTube, and then send you the link so you can watch that at your convenience. My only thing that I would advise you on is that properties are moving very, very fast. So if you're serious about buying a rental property in the Denver area, just make sure you're ready to jump on something fast. That's why you want to get pre-approved with a local lender and have that pre-approval letter ready so you can submit that with your offer. My buddy Ben Sullins from San Diego sends in a question. Why is it infinitely better than the LA market? Well, the size and population of the LA market is quite a bit more. You also have to deal with the crowds and the housing prices. Typically, you can't find anything that is remotely livable for less than $750,000. Maybe if you move outside of the city quite a bit, but your prices in the LA area and California for that matter are quite a bit more. So your money's going to go a lot further here in the Denver area. Plus you have these beautiful mountain views when you look out your window. Jay asks, when is the bubble going to pop? It's hard to say. People have been predicting a downturn in the real estate market for many, many years. And as of right now, I don't think that that's anywhere close to happening because the inventory is at historic lows. Houses are flying off the shelf and buyers are out shopping for houses. So some of those indicators that the real estate market bubble is going to pop are the listing inventory increasing, the days on market increasing, and that list to sale price ratio decreasing. So when you put your house on the market and you don't have a lot of buyers, it's more likely that you're going to drop the price in order to attract those buyers in. You're making less money. That ratio gets further away from 100%. Okay, on to the next question. John asks, do you see any loosening of inventory anytime soon? It is slim pickings out there right now. Yeah, that's exactly right. I don't see it loosening anytime. And just as I said with the previous question, we're continuing to see a hyper tight inventory. There's just not a lot of houses to pick from. This is pushing a lot of people to actually go and build a new house or purchase an existing inventory new home from a new home builder. Inventory is super tight and you have a lot of people moving into the Denver area as well. So it creates a hyper competitive market. I don't see things loosening up anytime soon. Jason asks, my daughter thinks suburban properties have gone up in value due to COVID, but in 1 or 2 years post-COVID, will urban become more popular and values go down in suburbia? You know, that's a really great question, and I think it's a really interesting sort of micro and macro factor. How is COVID impacting buyers and sellers and homeowners for that matter? Will homeowners want to move out of suburbia into urban areas once things start to lift and the pandemic starts to lessen its impact and grip on the market? My honest answer is no, I don't think so, because a lot of people who choose to move to suburbia are doing that because, number one, they want their money to stretch further. They want a larger house for the price that they would get maybe for a smaller house in urban areas. I think even more importantly, usually families are looking at the affordability versus school district mix, and a lot of people buy houses in areas that have good school districts, and in many cases those are in suburban areas. So even though people are moving to suburbia, let's say, I don't see that the reason they're doing that is because of COVID. It's just because they want more space and they want their money to last longer and go further, and they want to make sure that their children get into a safe neighborhood and good school districts so they can get a great education. Alvin, has marijuana legalization really driven up property values? Will they maintain their value? This is a really interesting question because about 5 years ago, I was hearing some rumors from people around town that the reason why the real estate market was booming was because people in the marijuana industry needed a place to put their cash because banks, federally backed banks, could not allow that money to be deposited in their accounts. So these industry leaders and business owners were putting their cash into real estate. But I don't think that is a large enough of a group of people to have that much of an impact on that. Furthermore, I believe now that federally backed banks can make an exception and take that money. Don't quote me on that and certainly verify that, but I don't think that that's a real factor anymore. I think that people just want to live here. They want the Denver lifestyle. They want the mountains. They want the social aspect of downtown Denver. And I think it's a really appealing city to live in. So I think more importantly, I think people just find Denver a very attractive city to live in. All right, that wraps up the January 2021 real estate market. What are we going to see this year? I think we're going to see continued tight inventory. I think we will continue to see houses flying off the shelf as long as they're priced correctly. So if you're watching this video and you're in the Denver market or thinking about moving into the area, what can you do? Work with a really exceptional, knowledgeable real estate agent who knows the areas that you're interested in buying in, and make sure you move on something really, really fast. This is certainly no time to hum and ho over whether you should be putting an offer on a house. If you like it and it checks the boxes, I would highly recommend jumping on things as fast as possible. The other thing that I would recommend is if you live in this area and you are considering selling, make sure that you're working with a knowledgeable agent and pricing that house right. There's a good chance that if you put it on the market, you're going to have multiple offers to pick from, and you're going to sell that for over asking price, which is great because we all want to make more money on the houses that we bought however many years ago. Sean Mitchell, Denver real estate agent with Co-Listings. Thank you so much for watching. If you're new, please consider subscribing. If you're a regular, hit the like button, and I'll catch everyone on the next video.